So we are back here with another 1v1 in Dawn of War this time. Went with Eldar again. Did my typical two Avenger rush. It's weird that they're not Guardians this time around, that they're actually dire Avengers, which are aspect warriors and not just like the normal foot soldiers of Eldar. But, you know, it's what it is, I suppose. Let's get this all sped up here a little bit. One tactic that I like to do is, I actually have my webway assembly set its rally point. You can see I do it there and there. That was that pulse on the map. But I'll set the rally point up here, and then I'll set the rally point now down here. So I don't want to waste any time in getting to the next Dire Avenger or getting those guys in pursuit of where they need to start capturing things. The beginning game, just like for most RTS, especially like StarCraft, is really important. So if you can get a good rush going initially, you have an upper hand that hopefully should snowball into you winning the game. But I did my Bone Singer rush here too. That has been helping out a lot because it gets a lot of early pressure on a point that my other maybe Dire Avengers can't get to. So we got these Dire Avengers capturing down here. We produce this and this. It's always make sure that you're keeping your requisition generators up. Big, huge, pretty important. And also making sure that you move your units. I didn't. Went for the capture point here. Engaged with my enemy here. He went with the Space Marines. His, I'm sorry, I didn't really kind of go into what his... Let me actually just slow that down here real quick. He went with the Doctrine for Tireless, so Tactical Marines increase in speed when not in combat, which is kind of big because Marines aren't very fast. Also, Venerable Dreadnought command Assault Leap. So he made it so that his what's it called? The Assault Marines can do that really cool, like, low-flying leap in the target direction, causes damage to units to pass through, just like the Banshees do. So it's a pretty powerful ability right out the gate. One thing I'm noticing that people do is they don't build their initial troop building right out the gate. They usually will build it up towards the front lines. You guys can let me know if that's more advantageous for you, how it feels for you. I guess I'm just so used to playing the way that he engaged me in melee here, knowing that, you know, Eldar are not great in melee by comparison to the Marines, but I do have the benefit of increased shields. Speed this up to normal here. As I have my other guys coming up here. He was pretty good with the micro on that first grenade toss. He managed to jump back behind it. He did interrupt my my little Bone Singer here and smashed and killed it, so it kind of required me to make another one, which is just a use. Like, I mean, you don't want to do that. That's requisition lost right there, because you don't want your little producer to die. That's just because you don't really think to produce those in mass like you would for most RTSs. But he had a pretty good engagement going on here on me. Remember this combat standard, these standards, they do quite a bit for the Marines, but you can capture them, which is pretty advantageous for you if you outnumber the Marines. But he just kind of went balls out on my capture point. I'm going to turn off Fog of War. There we go. So you can see that I remembered halfway through that I could capture it. Oh. There was some sloppy engagements here in the sense that I didn't have all my Dire Avengers committed up here to begin with. I had those ones at the bottom right requisition point kind of hanging back. This was my first match of the day, so I hadn't really, like, sparked up until around mid-game. But just keeping that pressure on is pretty important. It's important to capture that thing as well so that you don't have to deal with its benefits against your guys. Because that's some pretty good early game advantages they can get to turn an engagement like that in their favor. And you can see I completely let this guy go. I completely forgot that he was chasing him down. What are those? Oh, frag grenades. Okay, so he's got that, dude. Because that's not a default thing. And I can't stress how important these shield generators are. They negate that whole melee that he was about to drag me into. Again, poor placement on my part with the grenade, but my guys for some reason were not attacking right away. They were kind of like lagging back. It was kind of weird. And remember that this little gauge right here, see, I have to stop firing because it overheats. And that's something that I'm now, you guys have told me in comments, but now I've actually seen. So watch, okay, it'll attack, and stop. And they won't pursue anyone, they'll stop. You have to be on top of that and make sure that you keep these guys either moving and firing, or being aware of that cooldown. Almost popped my listening post there. This was another thing I discovered, even though I played beta and didn't realize that this existed. But and this is when you get into Rangers, and Rangers are a really, really great way of putting a lot of pressure on Marines. I enjoy them as far as an early game rush. I get them as soon as I get my first Avenger squads out, and then 100 extra requisition. I pop that immediately. But you see that lovely shield generator absorbing all that damage. They just KNO those guys. Don't know what I was thinking there. Couldn't tell you guys. Couldn't tell you. Another thing that I got all sloppy with was my elite units. I mean, those striking scorpions could have been out. Could have helped neutralize those guys right out the gate. Listening posts do neutralize stealth of other units. That's a big advantage because those guys otherwise would have gotten all willy-nilly on me. But we keep these Rangers here picking off those Assault Marines. Assault Marines are probably the hardest counter to Eldar in the early game outside of Flamers. Flamers wreck Eldar, and I'm surprised he didn't rush for that so far. Like, you don't see it on the units. Like, I would expect that to have been out already. Rangers continuing to kind of pluck away at things. I don't think I was focusing on them doing anything, but then I realized, my striking scorpions. That'll help me deal with these shields. I love the striking scorpions in this game. They're rad. Really great early elite, early pressure. They wreck pretty much anything in their early game, but they can get also in turn wrecked pretty well if they get overwhelmed. So look at those little Manda blasters going wild. Ninja jump missed a little bit, but still hit on point. He pulled me in range of his listening post, which is a good tactic on his end because I believe he has. Yeah, so improved listening posts. They have increased health and do more damage. So that's good on his part to bring me into that range of that. But kept these guys in range here because they're still pretty much in range of anything on this platform from there, and they don't have to worry about getting any kind of return fire.
Upgrade complete.
But again, this is what I was talking about, where barracks being produced front lines. Let me know if you guys think that that's more advantageous. I know a lot of you have said put your webway up closer, or at least this little guy, the warrior portal. And I guess that's, for reinforcement purposes, that makes sense. So as I kind of describe it with you guys, I think it makes more sense to actually have that up there, because you can, where is it? Yeah, relocate this. So I can press Z and pop it up here, which I should be doing. I haven't done that with Eldar yet because I just haven't done that as a whole. I'm not really used to that tactic because it's kind of new to me, but I'm doing fine with him so far, I think. I've won quite a few games. I'm just scrounging over that rubble. He's still got a little healthy force here, building up another barracks. I'm going to start putting some pressure on that listening post because, you really can only afford to build one listening post to begin with. You can build a crap ton, sure, but I mean, the early game, if you knock out that first one, as you've seen from my, what's coming in here? Boom, Librarian. This is probably my first game playing against Librarian after beta. Like, I kind of ruled Librarian out as not very strong. These abilities are pretty good if used in conjunction with your army, of course. Like this, see, this traps me inside of this barrier here. I can't get out, things can't shoot in, things can't shoot out. But he has to be able to duke it out with whatever's in there. I kind of sacrificed my striking scorpions here to get the rest of my army out of there. Oh, look at that little guy just got caught. Ooh, the piff. We got a solid army though. I've got some Howling Banshees, 3 units of Rangers, 2 units of Dire Avengers. There we we have producing over here? We're starting to work on some upgrades with infantry shields and infantry damage. I got pretty sloppy on getting that soul shrine out as fast as it should have been. It should have been out earlier. But he started to push down in the south here.
Let the enemy beware the howling banshees.
So got some howling banshees out.
Generator is under fire.
And this is a good tactic to kind of, you know, push the enemy away from where they're initially focusing. Had I not had these howling banshees out, that would have been a problem for me. But I knew that one unit of howling banshees can take out 2 units of tactical marines pretty easily if they're bunched up like that. And I got the other rangers I had freshly produced down there. So I started to bring my full army down. Finish off this listening post. It's almost dead anyway. And this is a pretty big hit for him because that's a pretty strong listening post as far as his doctrine upgrades. The second escalation phase. And as you can see, look at these Howling Banshees just tearing up that Marine squad. Still only at half shields. So they're doing it. They're doing it deep. Bringing that pepperoni, which is, I'm sure, it's the saying somewhere. Well, I like the way those sniper rifles sound. Just that like hollow tinny noise. Tum 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 tum. I always imagine Space Marines bolters to sound like more umphy, like a 50 cal, like not like the kind of like hollow sound they kind of have. I expect something kind of scary because in the lore there are these gigantic caliber bolts that explode on impact. If they shoot an Eldar, it rips them apart. So we bring Maka into the fray, I believe. Yeah, Maka comes in. Maka's really strong. Like this whole singing spear combination can really beast things up. So this is pretty scary. I'm stuck inside this gate with a librarian and assault squad with no close combat units. That is freaky. But remember, you know, you can capture this, and we captured it, negating the benefit that he got from there. Allowed Maka to get in, start getting down and dirty, and I used Maka's temporal weave spell ability to at least neutralize the damage that was going on in here. Just enough for that to get that shield to get knocked out, and for us to start doing heavy damage and knocking out his librarian. But so just got that single attack squad. I got this full death beat squad now. But as you can see, though, my opponent pretty much saw that at that point, I had completely wiped out his army. He had nothing, not even any. His barracks was probably the last thing that he would have had to help him sufficiently get out any kind of units, and I was going for that ass right there. But after that, it would have been a hard-fought fight for that shield generator, and then eventually his turret. It's very common to see games end at this point, but it's also very easy to come back still from here because early units cannot deal with that turret as easily. You have to split your army in two to draw the fire of the turret one direction while your other army pushes into it. So if you can't do a lot of burst damage initially, it'll get enough shots off to really neutralize your army. So if you are playing and you Dawn of War 3 and you are playing multiplayer and you do get yourself to this point, just keep pushing. There was a point where I was down to 2 or 3 units and I kept pushing, and I see how I came back here, and he still had about 4 or 5, so he had about 2 or 3 units up on me. So it's important that even if you are down, you can still tilt back. You can still tilt back. There's always chance for poor extension or poor exchanges, overextensions. A lot of really bad moves can be made in this game real quick to change the flow of battle fast. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was just a real quick one, but I wanted to get it out here, just see some quick Eldar tactics. I think I'll be doing a Space Marine one here soon. I can't do my Blood Angels that I want to do because of the Army Painter doesn't allow it, but I'll be doing maybe some Flesh Terrors. That's one of my favorite Blood Angels outside of the ones that I actually paint and play. But thanks for joining us here, guys. Be on the lookout for some more goodies coming. Hope you enjoyed this, and if you have any questions, please just let me know in the comments. Glad to answer them, or critiques. I'm always open to your commentary and ways I can improve. I know a lot of you have been telling me to move the warrior portal up, and I'm going to start doing that in the next one, so that I actually have a reinforcement point. But thanks for watching again, guys, and have a good one.